What I want to talk to you about is mastering the art of freelance cold pitching. This is really make or break for new writers who don't necessarily have the experience or a strong portfolio or amazing client testimonials. You can really get your foot in the door via cold pitching and land those opportunities that would have been out of reach otherwise. And that's why I'm so excited to share with you these tips. Now, I used to be in sales and my entire career literally banked on me sending cold emails, getting my foot in the door. I was doing a lot of cold outreach via cold calling. I was going into buildings. I was an outside sales rep. So getting that initial response was what I have been trained to do my entire career. It's how I became a copywriter, because once I understood how to get my foot in the door and how to actually bring in business for other companies, I went and I did that for myself, which is how I became a freelance copywriter despite having no professional writing experience. I had an interest in writing, but no one had ever paid me to do it. So once I understood that I could get that one high-paying client, I rinsed and repeated that process. It's how I created my course, 30 Days to Paid. It's why I'm on here teaching what I do, is because I took all of the principles of sales, marketing, and communication that I learned throughout the years and basically channeled it into building a freelance copywriting career. I get to work on my own schedule. I'm living that autonomous lifestyle that I wanted to live for so long, and it just seemed so out of reach for me. I know I read the 4-hour work week, and I would kind of watch other people online become self-employed, be independent, and control their own schedule, and I just never thought it was possible for me until I learned how to cold pitch for freelance clients. So that's what I'm going to share with you. If you have any questions as we go, pop them in the chat. I'm going to be here for maybe 20 minutes teaching on this. So most writers, most freelance writers might have heard of cold pitching by now, but they're afraid to do it because they're afraid they're going to be perceived as salesy or pushy, right? There is a natural inclination where we don't want to be that used car salesman. We don't want to get rejected by people. We don't want to annoy people, right? That is just natural. So the way I teach cold pitching is in a way that feels natural for you, that does not feel cringe, that does not feel overly pushy, and actually has clients thank you for reaching out to them and complimenting you for reaching out to them. Okay, can you imagine that? It's like, it's not what you think. You're not going to get someone bitching you out for reaching out. They're going to say, thank you so much for contacting me. Actually, I do need someone. I do need a writer right now. Could you imagine receiving that response? Right? And I did get a message the other day. I want to read this to you. On LinkedIn, a writer reached out to me and said, by the way, I implemented your framework for cold pitching and the open rate has been incredible. I've gotten several compliments saying this is better than most of the DMs I get about this topic. It's opened doors for me that would have been closed a week ago. You're a godsend. Thank you for all you do for us wordsmiths. Keep up the good work. This is the type of messages that I receive that make me so happy, and I've received those messages back from clients. Hey, thanks for reaching out. So it's actually so far-fetched if you're pitching the right way that you would get somebody who's actually angry with you. Never force anybody to buy. Okay, cool. Let me tell you why I rely solely on cold pitching as a strategy, and let me tell you why I don't do personal brand building or content or SEO as a freelance copywriter. So, number one, the speed of the strategy, right? So I needed to make money fast. You might be in that position too. I'm introverted, so starting a personal brand on LinkedIn was no for me. It's actually still a no for me. I do not have a personal brand on LinkedIn. I know that might be weird because you're like, well, Christine, you're on here right now going live and you're posting on Instagram. And to that, I would say it's easier for me to talk to fellow freelance writers and put myself out there in this realm versus building a personal brand, trying to get freelance copywriting clients. It's just not needed. You don't need to build a personal brand on LinkedIn. It will help you. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. I have students in my course right now who are actually getting incredible results, but it is not necessary. If you don't have the time and if you're introverted, it's actually not necessary, which is amazing. Now, with cold pitching, the other reason is that you could land higher quality, higher paying clients. So I know for me, and I know this is actually going to be true for you even if you're not in my niche. So I'm in B2B technology, B2B SaaS, right? And for me to build credibility in this niche, I needed good logos on my website. I needed to have somebody that another client would look at and say, they've written for that company. Oh, that's impressive. They can write for me too. As freelance writers, that's our goal, is to have these impressive logos on our website. It's a section that everyone should have on their websites. I've worked for X, Y, and Z company. I knew that in order to get those logos on my website, those logos were not going to be reaching out to me. Okay, as great as hopefully I am, DocuSign, Thinkific, these impressive brands that I wound up writing for, they were not knocking down my door, an inexperienced copywriter. Okay, I had to reach out to them. I had to get in front of my ideal client proactively. That's the power of cold pitching. That's what it allows you to do, is be proactive and go after your ideal clients. You don't wait for amazing opportunities to come to you. You have to come to them. Also, it just gives you control. It would not, maybe it's just my personality, but I could never go into a profession or a career field and just leave it up to chance. I don't have the time, and I didn't have the financial resources to wait for people to find me. I had to be in control, right? I had to be able to say, if I send a certain amount of cold pitches in a day, they are going to come, they're going to convert. That's a conversion rate. That's very basic. It's like, you send a certain amount of cold pitches that convert to a certain amount of responses, that convert to a certain amount of meetings, that convert to a certain amount of paid opportunities. That's just a conversion rate. And when you cold pitch, you are in control of that process. Ironically, when you do optimize your LinkedIn profile and you do start pitching, you will get people inbound coming to you. That's just the nature of being on a website like that, because you're optimizing your website, people are finding you in search, and then all the while you're doing these cold outreaches, people are also finding out about you and coming in inbound. And I've gotten so many inbound opportunities, even though that's not what my focus was, right? So when you put in the work, good things start coming to you, which is amazing. The other thing is that it cuts out the middleman, and it kind of cuts through all of the competition when you cold pitch, right? So a lot of people are on bidding sites, freelance marketplaces like Upwork or Fiverr. And that's fine. I mean, these are freelance websites that are specifically geared towards freelancers. They have people who are looking for freelancers. So your obvious assumption is going to be that's the place to go. However, the downside of it being a freelance specific marketplace is that you are competing with so many other freelancers. They're all there doing the same thing, wanting to get the same opportunities as you. Fiverr and Upwork also take a portion of your income. I basically do everything I can to cut out the middleman. I don't want anyone to take a portion of my profit. I don't even use payment processors in my business just because I don't want to pay those fees. So we want to be getting as much money as we possibly can if we're doing the work, and why should someone else take a piece of that? Because even if you were to upgrade to LinkedIn Premium, that's still not another company taking a percentage of your profit. So if you pay $60 for a month of LinkedIn Premium and you get a client that's paying you $1,200 a month for recurring blogs and emails, that's one-time chunk of $60 that it costs you to land that client. Now, you don't have to even download LinkedIn Premium. I'm just saying being on a platform like LinkedIn is building your own personal brand, whereas Fiverr and Upwork, there are some downsides that personally I'm not a fan of. The reason why is because I always advocate for writers to go after higher paying opportunities. There's a lot of people there teaching very effective methods for landing freelance work online. I won't ever put that down. There's a difference between landing freelance gigs and landing high paying, high quality, long-term recurring gigs. And it's not that LinkedIn is some magical treasure trove where only high paying clients go, but what I teach is trying to get you to understand what it is to be a freelancer who can command a higher rate that clients want to continue to work with, so that you can make your full-time income from a handful of clients versus doing a bunch of low paying gigs. It's just a different approach, and it's not about right or wrong. It's about, what do you want? Do you want higher paying quality clients? Are you at a point where you're done with, you're not happy with what you're making? If so, it's time to level up a little bit, and it's not really going to take you what you think it's going to take you. It's just going to actually take you to it's going to require you to adjust your approach. So what I want to do is cover a message structure you can use. So no matter what you send, your message is going to include these critical elements. And why am I giving you a message structure? Well, first of all, you can find many templates online that I provide you with. So I do a lot of the work for you. I have a done for you freelance template playbook packet that you can buy. But the cool thing is that when you know a structure, you will always know the difference between a message that gets skipped over entirely and a message that gets answered. This pitch message can transfer to any platform, any communication medium, any niche, any industry, right? Because what makes somebody open a cold pitch or an email is the same across the board. You have to personalize specific aspects of the pitch in order to get it answered, right? So this is what I want you to keep in mind, okay? So there's 4 elements of your message that you need to grab to get attention and get responses. Number 1 is just using their name. And I recommend that you start the message off by saying their first name, comma. Don't say hello, hey, hi. Don't do openers like hope all is well, hope you're safe, hope your family's safe. Really skip the pleasantries and get right into why you're reaching out. So that's number 2, the reason for your message. Now, this is where a lot of people get very confused because they're like, well, I don't want to just jump right in and be too salesy. No, my approach is say exactly why you're reaching out so that client can decide whether or not they need a copywriter right now. They can either accept your invitation, accept your message and reply to it, or they can ignore it because they don't need you. You want to know that off the bat. So don't be afraid to reach right out with that message saying, here's the reason why I'm reaching out. I'm a freelance copywriter in this niche, reaching out to you to see if you have any copywriting opportunities at the moment, if you need copywriting or content writing help. Now, the third part is the compelling reason why they should give you a chance. This is called your unique differentiator or your value proposition. Okay, so that's where the message really gets compelling, because a lot of freelancers just reach out and say, hey, I'm looking for work. Hey, I need a copywriting job. That's not going to cut it, because we're all viewing the world through this lens of what's in it for me, right? So the client is going to immediately scan your message and say, what is this person doing for me? Why should I give them a chance? And that's this element, the compelling reason they should give you a chance. It's your niche. It's your differentiator. So if you don't have a niche, you're really already at a loss because you're just coming in. I already see a comment, be specific. Yes, be specific and be a specialist. Say, I write in your industry and I've written for X, Y, and Z company, your competitors. I've written for people in your field. That immediately registers on the client's end as, oh, they know their stuff. They're valuable to me. They have information that if I hired them, it's going to be a light lift, right? It's going to be a light lift. I'm not going to have to hold their hand. I'm not going to have to really school them super hard on my brand. They don't have the time to onboard you and hold your hand. I wish they did, because it's the right thing to do. But when they see that you have experience, their automatic response is, oh, they already know this game, so I would trust them. I would hire them. Same way with any service. If you were going in for surgery, if you were having professional photos taken, you want to know that that person knows what they're doing. And Sim Scale says, what if you don't have experience? Well, this is the beautiful part, and I have a lot of videos about this on YouTube. But you don't need experience. You just need to prove that you have knowledge in that space and that you can write in that space. And that's where creating your own self-published portfolio pieces comes in. So you really have to look at it from the client's perspective. Yes, there could be a writer right here that maybe has portfolio pieces, they've been published, okay, that's fine. But then if you see a writer right here that's written in your specific industry, you're not going to be wondering how much experience they have. You're not going to be judging them as harshly, because they will see that you have relevant experience. So I would rather personally, if I'm hiring someone to write on my personal blog or my emails, I'd rather see that they understand my goals and what I'm trying to accomplish versus generalized experience they have in some other industry that doesn't have to do with what I'm doing. It's all about your knowledge of the audience. So that's another big misconception. People think they have to be super experienced in order to land clients. You just have to be willing to help, and you have to be willing to position yourself in a way that proves that you can help them, okay? So then you end the message after you mention that compelling reason, your value proposition, your differentiator. Then you tell them, you mention something personal. And it's interesting. I got a message the other day, an awesome email from someone, I was basically summarizing this whole lesson in my email newsletter, and someone said, wow, this is a huge relief to me because somebody else recommended this strategy where I had to go in and compliment them before I could go pitch. If anyone is recommending a pitch strategy to you that does not feel authentic to you, that does not feel right, something about it isn't sitting right with you, listen to that. Listen to your gut, okay? Because there's a chance that that strategy is not true and authentic to you, and it's going to translate across the screen. That energy of you not really believing in it is going to come across the screen, and it's just the vibe, right? So I agree. You shouldn't have to come in with this weird, compliment unless you mean it. Okay, unless you really believe in what you're saying, unless you're really personalizing that message, coming in and trying to mislead and beating around the bush, it's not necessarily a good strategy, right? And something that works for one person might not work for you if it doesn't feel real. So my message strategy is like, be very direct, be succinct, provide value, personalize your message. And those are the type of messages that clients appreciate receiving. It's the type of messages that I appreciate receiving and being on the receiving end of, right? So that's the formula. So I'm just going to recap that, right? You want to just mention their first name with a comma. Don't be overly flowery and complimentary, just their name, comma. And the reason why I double down on that is that back in my sales days when we would do cold email, that was something we were taught was like, don't say hello so-and-so, don't say hi so-and-so, just say their name, because that kind of puts you on their level mentally, subconsciously, because that's how you would address somebody who you worked with, right? Like if you were sitting next to somebody, your colleague at your desk, you wouldn't say hello so-and-so, you would address them, more of on an equal playing field, and that's kind of what that effect is, right? So you're going to say their name, the reason for your message, which is because you're inquiring about freelance copywriting opportunities, the compelling reason why they should give you a chance, which is your unique value proposition, aka what type of writing you do and who you've done it for. And then you're just going to mention something personal. So that's when you go in with, hey, I saw your most recent podcast episode. I saw that you were featured here. I saw that your company got this funding round. I saw that you're hiring and that the team is expanding. You want to make it known that you've been following them, that you're in the know about things that are happening in their industry. You want to distinguish that message from every other blanketed message out there, right? You prove that you're actually a person, that you're not a robot, that you're not spamming, right? And that's also why I recommend writing in a very conversational tone, because you want to really show that you're human and not a robot, right? So trying to think if there's anything else I should say about that. I think that's really what I wanted to cover. It's just that message structure. So let me go through the questions for you here. Hello, everyone. I'm about to go eat dinner, but I wanted to pop on here. Freelancing platforms are a race to the bottom unless you have experience, credibility, and testimonials. Your value proposition is price. Yes, we want to cut through that for sure. You can provide a trial period too. Yeah, depending on the deliverable. I think for certain industries, this works much better than others. If you can write something really short and succinct, like ad copy or a product description. But like I would say for blogs and websites and stuff, that's a little bit more difficult. So it's not an approach I take. Should I mass message to every marketing manager in the same company, or just a few people is okay? I'm not sure what you're asking, but I will say that you definitely want to reach out to multiple people within one company. That's a pro tip right there, is never just pitch one company and one person within a company and think it's over. You're going to want to target multiple people within one company because you're bound to get an answer. Someone said outfit of the day, question mark. Outfit of the day is I'm looking like a total bum. How many words would you say are right? So Ashley, if I'm saying your name right, keep the initial pitch as short as possible. Keep it really succinct. Don't come on too strong by telling like your whole life story. Long pitches are most likely to get skipped over. And what I like LinkedIn is that when you send that initial connection request, there's an automatic character limit. I think it's 150 characters. So you kind of are already limited and you have to make the most of that message, which is a great exercise because we want to be as concise as possible. People are mostly skimming. They don't have time to read through super long messages. It's only when somebody responds back to me and gives me some type of indication that they are interested that I'll go in with a longer pitch. So if they accept my invitation on LinkedIn, I might include a link to my portfolio. I might press them further. Hey, do you happen to be looking for a freelance copywriter? Thanks for accepting my invitation. So that's why my template playbook can come in handy, is because it kind of shows you the progression of like, here's your first message, here's your second message, here's your third message. And it's just really trial and error and seeing what works for you. So what I would love for everyone to do is monitor their inbox. Make sure that you are getting my emails, because I'm going to be hosting a free 5-day experience where I am hosting a new lesson live every single day, going deep into these topics, right? So I'm just going to read to you the topics. I'm so excited. All I've been doing is preparing for this 5-day workshop. Day 1, we're going to do a mindset training. So we're going to really get into how you can visualize and get get into this. Like, how can you set a goal that actually motivates you? How can you make that goal happen? How can you push past some of the blocks that come up that are stopping you from taking action? I've gone deep into this and I'm so excited because when you register for this workshop, it's not just me teaching these live lessons. It's also going to be a pop-up community where you can come in and interact with me, get your questions answered, talk to other freelancers who are in the same boat as you. And it's also going to be this workbook has like everything. I see Ephraim's on the call. Me and Ephraim have been designing this workbook, and it's so nice to get a note or a workbook and like actually complete these lessons in a way that's visually appealing versus what I can do because I'm not a graphic designer. So day 1 is going to be that mindset training. Day 2 is where we're really going to get into it because it's crafting your irresistible freelance offer. So that value proposition I spoke about earlier, it's what you offer and what makes you different. When you are clear on that, you will be absolutely shooketh on the things that happen. Then on day 3, we're going to get into today's topic, mastering the art of cold pitches. I'm going to show you the cold pitch in action so you can see the actual pitches that I send that got me my longest term clients. So you can see that formula in action. You're going to learn how to write your own customized cold pitch. You're going to get a template, and then between you learning that structure and you getting that template, you're going to have your first cold pitch, which I believe will be super valuable to you in order to get started. And then day 4 is finding your dream clients and tapping into high-paying freelance opportunities. So I'm going to show you where to look for freelance clients, right? Which, hint, hint, I'm going to recommend LinkedIn as one of them. I'm going to tell you how to spot the telltale signs of high-paying clients. So it's like, how do you know who has the budget? It's really about getting the low-hanging fruit. Like, who can I target that is going to hire copywriters? I'm going to have you define your ideal client persona, right? So that's really cool because you can understand which clients you're reaching out to, what their pain points are, and that's really cool because then you can craft all of your marketing toward that person. We're going to go over some saturation myths. I want to tell you why freelancing is not saturated, why it's not too late, why AI is not taking over. And then day 5, we're going to bring it all together in a freelance business action plan, okay? So this is where we really get into like, what is your income goal? Oh, what's your income goal? Here's how we're going to work backward to reach that income goal. I'm actually going to provide you with a freelance business action plan where you can start planning out your business, right? I think that's something that if you're able to see on paper what this is going to be, how you're going to go about achieving it, if you look at the logistics, if you set your income goal, if you get clear on who you're reaching out to, you get clear on the deliverable you're going to be offering to clients, you're going to get clear on what makes you different to that client, then it's really just a matter of getting on these platforms, pitching, and you land your first high-paying client, and then you rinse and repeat until you have a full-time freelance income. So that freelance action business plan is going to be your permission to take action, because that's the biggest issue, is that people are stuck in analysis paralysis. There's so much information online. You're piecing together free stuff on YouTube and you're not taking action. It's just information overload. It's different competing strategies that counteract one another, and it doesn't allow you to do the things you need to do on a day-to-day basis to move forward. Because, and I got a message the other day, I was really actually excited about this message because I got a message asking me, how do I know when it's time to just give up? And Ephraim, if you're on this call, I literally sent you an Instagram carousel because I'm like, I need to make content out of this. But I'll tell you when it's time to give up. It's time to give up when you know exactly what you need to do to hit the end goal, and you've admitted to yourself that you're just not able to do it at this time. Either you don't have the desire, or life is just happening. Like, life is lifing and you can't commit to it right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Life is about seasons, and God has us move into readiness on His timing, not our timing, right? So I've had this dream of freelancing for so many years, but it didn't happen until God wanted it to happen, okay? So don't beat yourself up and don't make yourself wrong. If you know exactly what it takes to land high-paying freelance clients, become self-employed and make this happen, and you just can't because of life circumstances, or it's just, it's not working out, it's okay. Maybe this is something you have to put on the back burner for the moment. However, if you are overwhelmed and you're stuck and you keep going back and forth and you're in indecision and you are just paralyzed by all the information, that's not time to give up. That's time to get clarity. That's time to get a plan. If you are not marching up to your computer Every day, knowing exactly what you need to do, that means you don't have a plan. If you're opening the computer and you're like, all right, I'm just going to check Facebook, check Instagram, check YouTube, that means you don't have a plan. So you haven't even given yourself a shot yet, okay? You haven't even nearly reached your potential because you're not working a plan. Get a plan, work the plan, because I guarantee you it's going to get you way further, way further than you think, right? My mind will blow up from YouTube. I'm every day watching videos and no action, unfortunately. Yes. Amazing. Thanks, Ephraim, for dropping that link. How do you see the sophistication level about the American market and another like the Brazilian? Do you write direct response? So the most direct response writing I do personally is for my own email list and my own personal brand, but I do write landing pages. I do write emails for my clients. I just don't really write like Facebook ads, which is pretty direct response. I only write sales page for myself because in B2B, sales pages are not a thing. I write what we call landing pages or squeeze pages. So I'm more of a content writer in terms of like where the majority of my income is coming from, because I explained this in other videos, but I like monthly like recurring revenue from a handful of clients. Whereas other freelancers go after like these big web copy, sales page copy opportunities. It's just your preference. It's what you're comfortable with. For me personally, even though I do like web copywriting, it's not consistent enough for me. And I haven't, I guess, like marketed myself in that way where I'm like the go-to website copywriter. So those opportunities are more sporadic. So they're nice, but it's not my bread and butter. My bread and butter personally is emails and blog posts and landing pages and ebooks. So it's like very content focused. Someone said, should we dabble with multiple sources like Facebook, LinkedIn, and other platforms, or really focus on one platform in the beginning? Great question. I would say focus on one platform, but know when it's time to incorporate other methods. So what that looks like really is choosing one platform to stay consistent with. My recommendation is LinkedIn, but it really matters. It really depends on who your ideal clients are. So if your ideal clients are like coaches, course creators, YouTubers, you got to get them on the platforms where they're posting the most content. LinkedIn for me is a really good bet because I'm a B2B writer. I target content marketing teams. My argument is that everybody should be on LinkedIn regardless of your niche, because even if you are in the personal development niche, you could probably find a company that's looking for copywriting talent and get a high paying opportunity on there. But definitely focus on one platform, but understand that if you are not gaining traction and you want to dabble in some other strategies, have those in your back pocket too. I have a video, unfortunately it's unlisted, but if you message me, if you're listening to this and you're like, yes, I want this video, literally message me, I'll send you the link. It's a training where I give you all of my favorite LinkedIn alternatives. So if there's somebody who's like, listen, I cannot use LinkedIn, or my ideal clients are 100% not on LinkedIn, I do have an additional training video where I cover job boards, I cover Twitter, I cover like Instagram and Facebook, I cover all the different alternatives to LinkedIn if you for some reason cannot use that platform. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, I want to see that, message me because it's unlisted and I have to send you the link in order for you to see it. It's a private training for my course, but I do allow some people to take a look at it. I'm looking forward to joining your program. Yay! There's a special promotion happening on the 23rd. Please monitor your inboxes. Let me see if there's any more questions. Someone said, what do you think about very long copy on sales pages? I feel like nobody reads them. When you write a sales page, it's really important for you to take into account the multitude of different readers out there and the style in which they consume content. So when you are selling a high ticket item that requires a sales page, you need to cater to the person who jumps right to the offer. They just are ready to buy now. So you want those buy now buttons at the top. They won't read anything because they've probably consumed other content. They've probably been nurtured off of the platform and they're just ready to buy. They land on your sales page, boom, they're ready. There is the skimmer. That is the person who's really like, I have to admit, I'm a big skimmer. I need to like sometimes slap myself and be like, stop, you need to read all of this because I am just like boom, 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 boom. What do I need to know? Rapidly searching a page for the information I need to know. So skimmers look for bold headings. They look for, and this is just a copywriting and a graphic design and a user experience technique, but you need to cater to people who skim pages with bold headings, a lot of white space, broken up paragraphs, no longer than 2 to 3 paragraphs. In my course, when I do audits of my students' websites, that's the number one thing I'm always pointing out. Hey, this is amazing, but just break that paragraph up. We got to make these 3 to 4 sentences max. This is just looking like a wall of text right now, and we need that to stop. So back to your question, yes, people read them. You just have to cater to all 3 types. The third type of reader is somebody who's going to read every single word on the page. There's certain buyers out there that they need to have all of the information before they make a decision. So that's why sales pages are long. That's why there is always value in a long sales page, but you have to cater to those 3 different type of readers. The people who are just ready to buy, let them go right to the price, click buy now, the skimmer who's just reading the headings, and then the person who takes the time to go line by line and read all of your copy. Amazing. Thank you so much. If you are not getting my emails, make sure you're getting my emails so you know about this free 5-day live workshop where I'm going to go into cold pitching and all the stuff I covered. If you are not receiving my emails, it's at paidcopywriter.com. You can opt in, but if for some reason you're not getting my emails and you're still confused, just message me and I'll add you to my email list, okay? This was so amazing. Thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to the 5-day workshop. I'm going to be promoting the hell out of it, so there's really no way you can miss it. But that's going to be in September. I look forward to it. I'm going to keep going live and practicing and giving. Someone said that's a lawyer type. Yes, line by line. That's 100%. Okay, have a good night. I'm going to eat dinner now. Bye.